you feel better in nature. You're part of nature. We're all connected to the natural process in a good way. Energy that's coming from all the different parts of the planet are actually what keeps nature alive and keeps us alive. Something has to be done so people can treat themselves. So you could be your own healer. You know, like redwood trees, you ever see them? You know, the big tall things, they're not going to go over. They're like really good. And we're all meant to be tall trees. People have a lot to complain about, and I'm going to take that away from you. You're going to take it away from yourself. So when you realize that you have the power to take it away from yourself, you're not going to have the same upsets, problems, or whatever that you think is going to get in the way if you just do these simple practices. What I love about the energy of success is that
back again, Dr. Barry Morgulin, Inspiring Our Evolution. Dr. B, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you.
Oh my God, it is such a treat to have you here today. Our last episode with you is still currently going absolutely gangbusters. And, you know, I've got this little sneaking suspicion that you poured some energy into the podcast for the way that it's actually been performing. But we can talk more about that in the podcast. For those tuning in, maybe you've sort of started to catch on. Dr. B, affectionately, Dr. Barry Morgulin, renowned energy healer, medical doctor. And he's got this capacity, basically, he's blending the wisdom of Eastern energy practices with the precision that we have in Western medicine. He's an absolute pioneer in energy medicine. Some of these practices are handed down to masters that have never been of Anglo descent before. And so, yeah, it's a real treat and an honor for us to be able to receive such incredible downloads and insights from Dr. B, from some of these really coveted sort of spaces. And yeah, we were talking about this a little bit offline before we jumped online. Some of the stuff we've been working on together, Dr. B, has been, touch wood, nothing short of remarkable. And the feedback on the conversations we've been having on the last video have also been nothing short of remarkable. So I'm really excited to be here with you today. The only piece of feedback that we got in the last video was, hey, like this was really informative, really inspiring. Can we go a little bit deeper and get a bit practical? So today is almost a flip of the last episode. So those people that are tuning into this one, you're probably going to need to tune back into the first one if you're approaching this one as your first one, because we're about to, they're as Dr. Barry is demonstrating on screen now, they're a hand in glove sort of fit. So we're about to dive deeper into some of the practices, and Dr. B normally facilitates this all around the world, and he's just generously giving it away to us today to give us a taste of actually what some of these energy practices feel like, look like, and some of the palpable takeaways. So yeah, this is a bit of a treat for all of us, but in order for it to really make all the sense, tune back into the first episode and then make your way here. If you are here and you've watched the first one, welcome. Really excited for us to learn some things practically around the energy that we've learned so much about here today. Dr. B, I know that was a very long introduction. Thank you so much for being here.
You're wonderful. Thank you. And, you know, the people that watch you, from what I can see, they're just an extension of some of your wonderfulness. What I want to start with is that today you all asked for it, and I'm excited to do this. So I want everybody to know that you're going to record this and they'll be able to replay it. Mm-hmm. But I still want them in the beginning that go get a pencil and paper so they're ready to take notes, or for that part where I'm going to help them realize a lot of things right away and tell them that I'm not kidding.
Yeah. The intention.
Give them your insight.
The intention that you've programmed into here for today's is for people to become their own healer in many ways, to align their mind, their body, and their soul. And one of the things you're really hoping for people to take away is that it's all endogenous. It's all coming from within you, and it's not external. And we've been looking at some things, and I've had some pretty remarkable experiences since the last time we spoke, touch wood, in terms of things just flowing better, more synchronicities showing up, which was, very affirming for the path that I'm on. So yeah, just feels really remarkable. I'm excited to go further in today's conversation. And yeah, like you said, some of the exercises are super practical. Pen and paper, set some goals around some certain things and pour some energy into some of those as well. I know I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, having been exposed to your work a little bit, but there are some really profound areas of our life that we have the opportunity to work on, and you're going to help us select a couple here today. Obviously, we can't go through all of them, but I think even just activating those couple that we've chosen strategically for this particular audience is going to be really, really valuable. So yeah, I'm excited for what's in store, and yeah, as we all should be too.
Okay, I'm going to give just a small, not review of last time, but just catch people up to what we're going to talk about.
Please.
This is Energy for Success. And prior to my discovering this, which wasn't that easy, which was the point of the story, when I told you last time, it took like 7 years, but it was because I already was having tremendous success in surgery, but that only took people so far. And they already had to go through the travails of worry, concern, discomfort, and then finally get a diagnosis. If they ever did get to me, they might be stuck in some type of, clinic or something else that they were trying just so they could avoid all the hassle. And when they finally went through the hassle, all the doctors, they didn't necessarily get to where they wanted to go. And so there's a lot of complaints about the whole medical system. And I kept hearing it 25 years ago. And I said, something has to be done so people can treat themselves. So you could be your own healer. So you could be a tall tree. Like redwood trees? You ever see them? The big tall things, they're not going to go over. They're like really good. Mm-hmm. And we're all meant to be tall trees. Now, how? Well, I didn't find it right away. I went, as you'll hear on the prior episode, I went a lot of places to learn everything, including acupressure, herbology, microdosing, macrodosing, shamanism, crystal therapy, water therapy. We could go on and on. It was all fun. But I wanted you at home with no desire other than to receive your birthright, which is to heal yourself. And, when you get a cut at night, and then say you get a cut, you put a Band-Aid on, or you're a kid. And then when you wake up in the morning and take the Band-Aid out, you expect it to be somewhat healed. And then the next day, it's going to be somewhat healed. So you know that you've got the healing process in you. As a matter of fact, if you just say, who I am is the healing process. Why don't you say that? You have it in you, but how to harness it. And so I said, I'm going to go look for it because and if you all ever have to follow a dream, which is what I had to do, if it's worth it, it's worth it. And I didn't get a lot of support from all the surgeons and doctors and throughout almost all the United States, everywhere else. It was like, they said, well, this is already working. Why do you need to have this? I said, because what if people didn't have this? And they could be on the golf course. They could be with their kids. They could be, and everybody go, oh, it's not possible. But now it's possible. And you're going to be able to do it for yourself starting today. So now you know where we're at. And I learned it all working in the top mountains in China with the Grand Master, direct verbal descendant from Lao Tzu, from a technique, a set of techniques that was only, and I mean, in China, as you know, it could be very militaristic during all those days. It was only for the emperor class and then only for the ruling class. So that's how they kept themselves in fighting shape and health shape and making good decisions. So if you were to look now, I told Amrit that I think the easiest way for you to get what I want you to get today is if I was teaching you directly. So he kindly, but you know him, it's just, what are you going to say? That smile is healing in itself. So he said he would. I asked him, I said, would you mind standing in for all of them? And they will make notes and everything, but I want you to go through all the processes yourself. And then you'll just tell me and you'll tell the audience, yeah, this is what I'm recognizing. This is what I'm seeing, because it's physics, it's quantum physics. It's so like you can't miss it once you learn where the levers are inside your body, and you learn them how sort of in all these processes we have for you. You'll learn how to put energy into everything without much stress. But all these sensors in your body, you won't see really a map of them because there's so many of them, and there's more than the acupuncture spots. But once they're open, they're like circuit breakers, and they'll stay open for quite a while and you'll keep drawing energy in so that you really can excel. And there's people that I'll be telling you about who have taken this and started from very, very meager situation, either health or financial or relationships or finding a soulmate or breaking loose and being creative and writing the first book and the second, the third, whatever. All those things, when you were just a kid, you were ready to do those. And then the world gets somewhere along the path, and I call that the Matrix. And the Matrix, then they made a movie about, which I thought was great. But the fact is, it's not really the other person's fault necessarily that they're blocking your driveway and everything. It's just once you know what you're going to know after today, and we may even have a special for you, then you're going to recognize that you're going to be so much more not involved in problems. You'll be able to solve them so much easier that you'll have this experience, oh, maybe the world is for me. And a lot of people have heard that in philosophical texts and things. They go, yeah, the world's for you. They go, well, you know my problem. Let me get my list of problems, though. And then you'll start to see that the world is set up that you can now fit into it as a tall tree, as one who's going to be able to stand successfully on your own for you and your family. You're going to find out that you have a field that you emanate. And that field you emanate, you can actually harness the energy of the universe to make it more powerful. So you just need to know that Amrit, thank you very much. He's going to represent for you all, and he's going to do the processes, but I want you to do them too, because I want you to learn them as if we were in a class. And we've got a certain amount of time, and I got to get it all in. Okay.
Honored to be everybody's guinea pig here. And just as a cautionary thing, this is, if you're listening to this podcast at this particular juncture, around about now is probably a good time when you're driving or something like that. Now's a good time to pause it, come back to it later when you're home. But if you're home or, anywhere where you've got a little bit of space to yourself, now's really the time to, grab your pen, grab your pad, get excited. We're about to do something really remarkable.
The first thing that you need to know is that there's multiple access points and I brought them all back, and they're all there in every one of the programs we've got for you, an Energy for Success. That there's some people are very much interested in the physical, the martial arts, the super strength up till the age of 100 and more. I know that now people are sort of going, when I told Dave about this, Dave Astry, one of the clients, my clients, when I told him about it years ago, you go, really? 104? I went, yeah. Let me show you the photos of all the people that I took care of in China that were in this one village where they have them. The government takes care of them. They're all over 100. And he said, what do they look like? I said, look. And he said, they do all these practices. He goes, okay, then I want to live to be 120. I think now he wants to live to be, I don't know what he said, 180, whatever it is. He keeps pushing up the number, but you have, there's a technique to it. So you can't just say, well, I'm going to have my favorite Coca-Cola and all the other great sugar drinks. And not that you couldn't burn it off doing enough of these practices, but the fact is you still need to fortify yourself. And it isn't strange that the original name for this type of treatment was called Get Younger Energy or New Life Energy. So if you can imagine the Chinese letters for that, that's what it was called. And why they call it New Life Energy is because you actually, and Amrit will, thank goodness, attest to this fact, that once you go through any of the processes, that all of a sudden you wake up a little bit more ready for life than you thought possible.
Hey there, guys. Hopefully you're loving this content. We're about to dive deep into some practical energy exercises with Dr. B. If you're loving this content, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. It helps so much more than I can even begin to say with everything we're doing. At the time of this recording, 95% of you that are tuning into the channel regularly aren't actually subscribed. It would help so much with everything we're doing if you could take the time to please subscribe to the channel. It helps so much with everything we're trying to champion with wisdom, positivity, and love going all around the world. Thank you so much for your subscription. Go on, click it. It's just down here. And back to today's episode. Yeah, no, I was just going to affirm that. And things just seem to be clearer when you're going through about your day in your mind and also in your interactions with others.
That's what you need. You need your life to be more loving, more enjoyable, more like, I don't have to be fearless. It's just not part of the deal. What we have here is I'd have good relationships. We have this thing called grade 8, which I'm going to show you about later, where you're going to be winning in each one of these grade 8 every day, because that's what balances you out so that you are really capable in all areas all the time. And you all know the story about someone work like crazy to go through whatever schooling they want to go through, or they to make partner, whatever. And then these are true clients that I've seen. And they get home, finally, one guy, he said, I just made partner, I brought home a bottle of booze, and we're going to celebrate. And it's a big surprise. I hope you're glad that we finally made it. And his wife, this true story, nice lady, she said, we may have made it to your being partner in the law firm, but here's a piece of paper, are getting divorced. And he shocked the hell out of him. He says, but I did all this for you. She says, I didn't marry you for you to be lost, to be gone all the time. And so what I want you to know is that you can have great soulmate relationships, which is one of the 8, and succeed massively, both financially, physically, in a relationship with all your colleagues and stuff. So you don't have, there was a book that came out. I thought it was a funny title. It said, Stop Complaining, How to Stop Complaining. And it's sort of a forced joke. But the thing is that people have a lot to complain about, and I'm going to take that away from you. You're going to take it away from yourself. So when you realize that you have the power to take away from yourself, you're not going to have the same upsets, problems, or whatever that you think is going to get in the way if you just do these simple practices. So why don't we try the first category? First category is physical practices. Now, physical practices are, yes, if you get one of the programs that goes through in detail what's happening with each one of the modules of your body, but that's not what you want. What I want to do is just give you the car, drive it. So we're going to do the practices, and then if you want to know the technology about it, how it works, we'll make that worthwhile. So the first thing that I wanted Amrit to do with us was to and we're going to do simple things. We're going to do hands in front like this. There you go. Hands in front, and then hands over the head. Good. And then next to your ear. And then I'm expecting you to do it too. He's just demoing it for you because he's a super nice guy. So then try to get somewhere next to your ears if you can, but you don't have to. Just try to get straight up. And now that you're in this position, take a deep breath. Okay. Now, what you're going to notice when I'm breathing is that's only one breath. You can take a second. And even though it feels like you're breathing super big, you can take a third one. And let your neck relax. Let your shoulders drop. One more breath. And then let your arms come down. Slowly. Bring them down. Just bring them down slowly. But I want you to bring them down, not using muscles. So that'll confuse your mind, which is good. And just let your arms be pulled down as if there were, and there is. Remember, the yin yang symbol has 2 sides. If there was an energy that you could call on that will, as Yoda said, use the force, Luke. So you can slowly have your arms come down to your center of your chest and just put your hands here over your chest like this. I think you can see that. Okay? All right. Now, that wasn't difficult, right? So now what I want you to do is, this time we're going to do it again, everybody, but I want you to try to get more air in, okay? I want you actually to see if you can get air in the back of your lungs, the front of your lungs, the side of your lungs, and that's why the stretch is important. So let's put our hands like this again, and then slowly put them above your head. And it's okay to smile. You can enjoy this. Yeah. And then take a deep breath. And you want to relax your neck. You want to keep your neck completely not involved. And then stretch up a little bit. Those you can stretch more. And then take another breath in, and you can stretch more. And then take another breath in, and you can stretch even more. And then slowly let them come down. And you can let them unclasp and come down even slower than last time. And just sort of enjoy the pathway down. You don't have to notice anything. Don't worry, we're going to get you through each little layer. You just have to slowly get you to take part in the things that will automatically give you what you're looking for. And then slowly bring the hands to your right on your heart. Good. Now, we're going to come back to this exercise in a minute, but we're going to do one that has to do with really just taking charge. So you don't have to be forceful. You don't need to be high intention. You can just relax and have fun with it. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you first. I'll stand up, and I hope you can stand up, but if you can't sit, you can do it sitting down. It's better standing up. Is we're going to push out the bad and bring in the good. Push out the bad and bring in the good. Now you're going to say, I don't know what I'm holding on to. I mean, it seems like I'm grabbing air. Okay, you're going to suspend that kind of discussion with your mind. Right now, you're just going to have fun and watch and enjoy yourself advancing without any difficulties. So first, you're going to push out the bad with your right side and bring in the good with the right side. So look, okay, now with the left hand, do the same thing. Push out the bad and bring in the good. Now, you don't have to supercharge or muscle yourself. You just have to say those words either in your head or you can say them out loud. But what I want you to do is follow me. Okay. Push out the bad. Bring in the good. Push out the bad. Bring in the good. Push out the bad. Bring in the good. Now, push out the bad. Now, when you're standing and doing this, it's good if you can sort of keep your core a little bit firm so that you feel comfortable. So I'm going to stand up a little bit here and give you sort of an idea. Although they can't see this well, so I'd like them to. If you stand here when you're pushing out, obviously the right side, and as you push out, if your abdomen is nice and just sort of regularly, not pooched out, but just sort of kept even, your core and your posterior, you can sort of contract your posterior as you push out and pull back. Good. Push out the bad. And the reason you do right and left is that both sides of your body are different. And you need to treat the balance of both. So what the right side wants is different than what the left side wants. There you go. And relax your neck while you're doing this. There you go. And then this. Push out the bad, bring in the good. Everybody relax your neck, relax your shoulders. We're not going to do this for a couple more seconds. All right. Now, relax and bring your hands together like this. Okay. Take a deep breath. Now, I want you to roll this fist like this. Can you look at me right here with this thing right here? Yeah, and then roll it this way. And then roll it this way. And this way. And then try to roll it around. And relax your neck. There you go. And then roll it back the other way. Just so you can take it easy. Your neck doesn't get anything easy. It's this. It's nothing that you do. Your body will do this automatically. All right. And then shake that out. Okay. Now what we're going to do is just see if we've created anything. So we're going to do the this one again. And we'll see if it feels the same, if it's easier, more difficult, whatever. But put it on your head. Put it on your head. And some of you will notice that you can go a lot higher now. Take in a deeper breath. It's okay to smile. It's even okay to yawn. And then take a deep breath in the back of your back, way in the back between your shoulder blades. Take more air. And breathe right in the chest space in front. Breathe lower. And then this time with your neck relaxed and your head relaxed, bring your hands down and see if they can just float in a different way than before, that you don't really have to bring them down for quite a long time. We could actually make this 10 minutes if you wanted to. Because if the energy is doing it, you'll go much, much slower because you're taking in healing energy while you're doing this. And this time, don't put it on your chest in front. Put it about 6 inches away from your chest. So you can see I'm about 6 or 8 inches away. And just allow that to go in. So you can close your eyes. Now we're going to do it for real. Now we've done all the things we need to. Here we go. Just like this. You guys and gals are all pros. Now enjoy. Drop your shoulders. Relax your neck. Head relaxed, slightly looking up. Then slowly bring your arms above your head. And take a deep breath. Okay. Now what about another one? Okay. Notice your arms can go even straighter. And it's not a pressure, doesn't hurt you. And then even further, so that you actually can almost squeeze your head, but you don't need to do that. You just want to get higher with more air. So take one more deep breath. Then you're going to unclasp your hands, but you're really not going to bring them down. Let them bring themselves down. So we're going to take as much time as you need. And just notice that, yes, there is a sense that I don't have to pull them down muscularity. I can just somehow, I've got some assistance here in keeping my arms just floating. You can see on this side, on this side of the camera, that they'll just keep floating out here. And as you're standing, which is what I recommend, you just bring them down even slower, but you don't have to. You can sort of guide them, but they're actually excited about taking that space again. And it's not pressure to do it. It's actually easy. And so put it on your chest now and close your eyes. And then take a super deep breath. Good. Okay.
Part for me that always gets me is when the arms are sort of, hey, you're Inspired Tribe. I want to take a quick sec. I wanted to share something today with you that is really dear to my heart. And it's actually what keeps the entire ecosystem around the Inspired Evolution thriving, my one-on-one coaching. So it's basically coaching that helps you live a spiritually aligned life. I coach people from all different types of walks of life. These people are leaders and they're looking to have an incredible spiritual impact in the lives that they're leading for themselves, and then also lead in alignment to their values. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. Here's a few people that have also transformed through my coaching, and here's what they have to say.
Amrit is a fantastic coach.
In a few sessions, he got to a depth that I'd only experienced before working with certain medicines. And
he's gone through a lot of the struggles that you're probably facing.
Then my corporate banking job wasn't really doing it.
You feel like you're not making progress towards your goals.
And Amrit's been a really strong, supportive figure in my journey.
I'm more in control of myself.
I'm kinder to myself.
I actually have that vision and a purpose.
I do feel like I'm a better version of myself already.
Amazing energy.
He was easy to talk to, which made me easy to trust him.
Working with Amrit at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and really I was bouncing out of bed.
Whenever I get off the calls with Amrit, best money we've ever spent.
I would not recommend him because I don't want everyone to know about him and then I won't be able to book him. If he gets too busy, I won't get my turn.
I would say absolutely.
There's no way you can work with Amrit for a period of time without being transformed.
So if you're considering him as a coach, do not hesitate because you won't be disappointed.
As you guys can see, there's a lot of people all over the world from all these different corners experiencing incredible transformations. I don't think, if I can say humbly myself, that there is anything quite like this somewhere else online. Most people that, have channels that, grow and grow and grow don't really focus on one-to-one offerings. I have just found that it is the most profound space where you can bring yourself in a private container and really just share what's going on for yourself. And if you want to book in for that call with me, touch base, it's www.amrit.coach/life. That's www.amrit.coach/life. There is a link in the show notes below to book in that call. And yeah, if you want to take your journey further, if you want to dive in deeper and you really want to live a spiritually aligned life, if it's for you, please do check it out. And without too much further ado, once again, for your spirit, for yourself, today's podcast. Being held up by some invisible forces, that bit really trips me out. Some part of me actually tries to push him down a little bit, just to sort of see how strong the forces are. I know I'm not meant to be doing that, but nonetheless, there is this palpable sense of there is some energy that's actually at present and at play.
It's okay for you to go like this. There is even exercise of like this, which I want to show them sometimes in one of the practices where you actually take a big, intense amount of energy between your hands. And it looks like I don't hold anything here, but you actually can have energy where it's something that's just right in front of you. And then you can roll it around and you can place it in certain places. But the first thing you want to do is what we're doing now, which is open up all the circuit breakers so that you can take a break. Because the whole population everywhere around the globe, all the reports is that the level of TPS, thoughts per second, is increased, and people are worrying more, and they're not. And you know what the definition of worry is? That you don't have an answer, and so you're just sort of allowing your emotional state to ruminate, and then you don't feel better, but you feel you're at least doing something, but it isn't productive. So what I like about the energy is that, well, how worried do you feel right now? Or do you feel more?
I'm not at all worried. I feel very clear. I feel very embodied, especially the pushing out and pulling back in was really...
Yeah. So you can imagine pushing out the bad, bringing the good, push out the bad, bringing the good.
Got me straight out of my head.
So everybody do that one more time while you're there. Push out the bad, bring the good. Push out the bad, bring the good. Relax your neck. Now while you're doing it, are you starting to get the sense that there's something you're pushing? Are you get a sense of something you're pulling back? Relax. Do it with your eyes closed. Try it with your eyes closed for a second. Feel that. Feel the pain. Very good. And then before you open your eyes, just put your hands on your chest. You can touch your chest now. And it's okay that you just allow whatever energy, whether you were aware or not, you still get a chance to enjoy its results. And you don't have to feel anything now, but you can just have this here and just have an intention that, well, if I did pick up any energy, I don't know if I felt it or not, but it's okay. You will. Just oxygen, and then it's like a highway, and then what's trading back from your nose to your exhalation to the trees is the CO2, which they like. They use that. So it's really important. Many of you have studied many things, and you're very clear, and some people are just thinking about it now, but the point is, you feel better in nature. And the reason you feel better in nature, because you're just, the truth will set you free. You're part of nature. We're all connected to the natural process in a good way, really good way. And it isn't like we're connected to nature like, we have to watch out for rainstorms. No, we're connected to nature because the energy that's coming from all the different parts of the planet are actually part of what keeps nature alive and keeps us alive. And you're going to notice more of that as we move on. So, right now, let's give Amrit a hand for doing that. He did great. Was that pretty easy?
Yeah, it was wonderful. Thank you, Dr.
Okay, so now what we're going to do is a thing called a rapid transformational vibrational technique. And what this is done for you. This is the best for our world. Our world is so high tension. That was the other reason why I loved it. And once I got there and could prove that it was real, that you could heal something without touching an incision, that you could give someone energy and things would reverse, and then they could learn to do themselves. It was like, wow. So what are the ways of them picking it up? Well, one of them is physical. And the other way is, and what does picking it up mean? It means that just like you see on an acupuncture chart, all these little dots all over your body. Well, you've got zillions more, but there's like the circuit breakers in your house. You flip them on or off. Once they're on, they pull in energy. They can only do one thing or the other. And the trouble is with us getting so involved with all the things that we separate ourselves from either nature or from other people or from success or from feeling safe or from feeling that we're actually making it in life the way we thought we wanted to, that grinds on the sensors and has them not open to take in more energy. That closes them down. So you're going to find out that was a trick from the Matrix. And the way to get past that trick is not to have to go to the Wizard of Oz just to figure it out with Dorothy, although it's pretty much the same. You're going to find out you're just going to sort of circumvent it. I mean, if you've ever been driving wherever you live, and they say, well, there's a detour, but you know the city, and you're going, okay, I don't have to take that detour. I know another one. So you go around the whole thing, and then you get to where you want to go. That's what you're going to have that feeling. While maybe other people don't know about the energy, you're going to be going, God, it's tough. And you're going to go, just do this practice. You'll find a good solution. You're going to find that in this practice called a rapid transformational vibrational technique, because you're going to be absorbing vibrations and you don't have to work. That's what's so great about it. You do need to not be driving right now, so you should pull your car over. It's great if you close the door, turn off your phones. It's very short period of time, but don't get bothered, because you're really going to want to be enriched by the vibrations that you'll be bringing up as I guide you through these different levels of vibrational energy. And the reason I like that it's done for you is that some people have trouble with meditation. And I have so many teachers of meditation who come to me, besides therapists, and do these courses because they have a problem with the fact that, now what do I do again? I clear my thoughts. What is it? I stop thinking. I'm supposed to get the spaces in between the words. Well, I'm not supposed to be uptight. Can we get this meditation thing right? And I'm supposed to feel better when? So, I mean, and I didn't make these statements up. There's a lot of people who've struggled with that. And finally, there was this one meditation teacher who told me, she said, I just tell everybody there, just be quiet for a minute, do sitting, like Zazen in Japan. It's like she just gave up. But then she learned this, and then she has her students do these practices before they sit. And now you can get the value of what meditation was supposed to give you. And this is considered in China, since the days of 5,000 years, has been the fastest route to enlightenment, which is part of the reason why you're meditating anyway, right? So this is do it yourself. I'm just going to guide you, and you're just going to enjoy it. So close your eyes, and Amrit's going to do it with us. It's great stand-in for you, but you should do it with me, and I'll do it too. I'll close my eyes also, just so we all join in. And just take a deep breath with your eyes closed. Now you know how to do that. Let it out. And now that we've gotten breathing as an important factor as far as energy, let's breathe to the different parts of the lung, because it's been shown that most people breathe in only part of their lung. And it'll be best if we just breathe to the whole front of the chest. But you should keep your eyes closed now and do it, because it's easier to take a deep breath. And then breathe to the front of the chest and the back of the chest. Takes longer. It's okay. There's no rush. There's no rush. So now you're going to breathe at the front of the chest and the back of the chest. And what's interesting is the chest has also sides. So your armpits going straight down on both sides where your rib cage is. Take a deep breath there at the same time. So you got the right and left sides of your chest, the front and the back, 4 places, and you can do it. Just take a deep breath and have all 4 of those areas be loose, available to take in all the wonderful oxygen you really benefit from. If you're sitting or lying down, either one is fine. Just relax for a second and let's take a break together. Keep your eyes closed. If you're sitting, then just let your neck take a break. So the way to do that is just sort of roll your neck back and then roll it forward a little bit and roll it back. And then sooner or later, your own senses, that's like when you're riding a bicycle, you get a sense of, this is the most relaxed position right here. And then you leave it there. And then this is all about taking a break from the matrix. So, and anything that doesn't fuel you. So let's let your shoulders relax too. Now, take a deep breath and let your shoulders relax even further so that the scapulae, which are the bones in the back of your chest, sort of go into your back pockets. They sort of, as you breathe up, chest goes up, big, the shoulders sort of drop. Very good. Now, it's really interesting as you're sitting there that it's okay for this little exercise that we're doing, that you don't have to hold yourself in a position. You can let the chair hold you. It's actually possible just for you to just let go and have the chair just support you. It's great. Have it support your back and your waist and your thighs. Let go into the chair and just let the chair hold you. Now take a deep breath and notice that part of the lung, like we call the diaphragm, which is the bottom part of the lung, that actually is much more included now. And so you've got the front and the back, the sides of the lung, and then the diaphragm, so the bellows, where your belly is, and it actually can move when you breathe. It's interesting, you have so many areas that are set up for you to take in this wonderful combination of oxygen and energy. And as your neck's relaxed, your shoulders down, it's very easy for you to sort of notice for a moment. Doesn't matter if you've ever noticed this before, but you'll notice it in the future. With your eyes closed, keep them closed throughout this whole thing. That above your eyebrows, if your eyes are closed, in your forehead area, it's sort of like, it has a color. It's sort of grayish, blackish, pebblyish. It's certainly not smooth. There's like some depth to the panorama that occupies your forehead if you let your eyes look up towards your forehead. Not the top of your head, your forehead. Just let your eyes gaze there gently and keep them there. And as you'll notice, it sort of develops into sort of an arena of this panorama that's blackish gray and sometimes brown. But there's these little flicks of light that appear. And if you just watch those lights, they almost like right away start to coalesce towards the center of the field, which is the really fun thing to do. As you see that the little flickers of light sort of meet in the center and become, and you may see this, you may sense it, you may imagine it, but just allow it, please. And then in the center there, in that screen, you can sort of sense it on and off, this light's going up, but there's sort of a gold, silver, platinum ball there, tiny as heck, but it can get bigger and smaller, but it's always rotating. It doesn't sit still. It just keeps rolling around to the left, rolling around to the right on its axis. It doesn't sit still. And you need to know that the definition of life is motion. When things can move, they're alive. When things can't move, they start to reabsorb and finally are not functional. So it's great that this little gold, silver, platinum ball is part of your life energy. It just keeps rolling around to the left and then to the right. It's in the center. And what's fun is that it will follow your instructions. So if you'll bring it back to the back of your head, you can do that. So you just bring the light from the forehead and slowly bring it back and to the back of your head. And any way you can picture that is fine. Just imagine it, sense it, speak it, just go along with what we're doing, and your body will support you. Your body's meant to support you through this process. So it isn't like you have to do anything perfectly. And then you can let that ball slide back to the center again. So it went to the back of your head and into the center, sort of on that track. And now if you take a deep breath, that ball's pretty much getting ready to follow all your instructions, and you can bring it all the way to the back of your head and then down your neck, all the way through the cerebellum and all the different nerves that occupy your cranial nerves down to the back of your neck, which actually, when the ball goes there, it sort of just lights up that area a bit. And what's neat is you can bring it down to that area, and then you can breathe it even farther. You can say, okay, well, that was good. Let's keep going. Why don't you go to the heart? Because we were talking about that earlier. And going to the heart, which is really, it's only four chamber muscle that just keeps beating all the time. It's wonderful. And you could just paint, fill up. This ball has the ability just to spread itself around into a million different balls. So it can just break apart and just mix with all the muscles there and give them a break. So everybody wanted to work on their heart effort. This is a wonderful opportunity to just let the gold, silver, platinum light sort of just gently go to the spaces in the right side of the heart, the left side of the heart, and then you have these coronary arteries that people write about all the time. But you can do a lot in this exercise, is that light can distribute through the different arteries. You don't have to be able to name the left anterior descending, but just know that whatever you experience as the arteries and the muscles there. And then what I was telling you about earlier, that the heart is in a sac, so you can fill that sac up with this gold, silver, platinum light. It sort of follows your guidelines, and the whole heart can then just sort of like you were sitting in the chair before or lying down, you sort of let yourself go. The heart can let itself go and just be supported inside that sac that's always there, the pericardium, because you're filling it up with all this, the sense of this gold, silver, platinum light. And what's neat is that you can then notice that you can send it back up from the heart up to where your lungs are, and they can divide and go into right and left lungs. And the lungs, if you've never seen them, they're just a gazillion different little pockets. So if you divided up the light before, it's going to divide up even more in the right and left lung. You go into all these little saccules, which is where you transfer energy all the time. And so you could actually just have a million dots on the right lung as you breathe, and then fill up the whole right lung with all this light, and then fill up the left lung with all these little dots everywhere, bolts and platinum, left side, and then breathe out. And then, after a while, you'll start to notice that as you're breathing, these little lights, they like to stay there. They enjoy cleaning up the spots. They enjoy staying inside the saccules. And as you get inside there and take a deep breath, you can let the light go all the way down from your lungs down into your abdomen, and just sort of take all the things in your abdomen that need to be cleaned and supported, and let them just be lit up also. It doesn't take any effort, just sort of intend, and whatever you see, you get. And then as you take a deep breath, let the light go down, split between your legs, go down both thighs. Yeah, it can split and go down the right side and the left side. You have so much space in your body. It's amazing. There's so many spaces of separation of air in there, and also where water is. So much of our body's made worse. There's a lot of room for this light to go down there and heal you, and go down through your thighs, to your knees, to your calves, and then into your feet, which most people don't realize. Your feet, although we think because we wear shoes, they're sort of a solid structure, they're really just a bunch of small bones in there. It's amazing with ligaments. So feet really appreciate the light, and you can wiggle your toes as the little beams of gold, silver, platinum light go into the toes, and they sort of shoot out like headlights in the left side and the right side of your left foot and right foot and through the bones. And then you can just intend, as we take a breath, we'll bring that light all the way back up. So you just follow me to the every extent. It's fun. It gets stronger each time. It'll be different, but it's not necessary to change anything other than follow along and breathe that light back up from the feet, the thigh, the calves, the thighs, up to your waist. And then you can bring it up up through your lumbosacral spine, all through those wonderful ligaments and discs and bones that really appreciate this chance to have the gold, silver, platinum ball roll through each one of those, and then up to your neck. And it goes back up to almost where it was going to go before, where you found it in that panorama. But this time, like one of those geysers that you can see in one of the national parks, this time you could have that light just shoot out the top of your head. Yeah, you can send it up about 13, 15 feet above your head, and it's like a geyser. So if you can imagine for a moment, there you are watching yourself with this light beam, gold, silver, platinum beam. And it's fun. It's like a beam coming out the top of your head, and it's sort of just the balls just keeps rotating on top of that beam of light at the very top, because it's being held up like that. And so many of you will get a smart idea that, well, this is sort of interesting. That ball's up there and has a stream of light that's coming down from it. I could hold on to that stream of light in my mind and see where this ball will take me. It's sort of my friend. So let it do that like a kite string and hold on to that stream of light coming back from the gold, silver, platinum ball. Let it take you up, 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 up into higher into the environment, the sky, and the sky higher, 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 until finally you're in the clouds. And what's so great about being in the clouds is that it's cool, it's refreshing, makes you feel good. And then you can go up above the clouds and you're just holding on to this kite string. It's pulling you up. It's all safe. And what's interesting above the clouds is this atmosphere that is unbelievable that you can see so well. It's like your vision becomes immensely clear. And it's like the color is blue, but it's blue and but it's still transparent. So you can see way, if you move your head to the left, to the right, or your eyes and your mind, you can see far, far, far away. And there's a lot of things to pick up in that big blue atmosphere as you're, holding on to your kite string. The light's still going up as you get to see this blue atmosphere is very, very clear. And what's interesting is that way off behind you it seems to be all kinds of space that you could investigate. But we'll look at what's in front of you. Way in the distance, there's these mountains with volcanoes way in the future, way into the distance, and some are snow-capped. But as with most volcanoes, they're way away from you. But you see these flashes of light that keep coming out of the volcanoes. And, light travels faster than sound. So you see these flashes of all these different colors of light, and then you hear the boom, boom, the wonderful sound of the explosion and the mountains way off in the distance. And what's interesting up here where you're watching, so many colors come out. I mean, it's like a rainbow of all blue and red and orange streamers come out from the distance there. And they come like a canopy over your, where you are, sort of floating here in this blue. And so you can see the colors and just sort of pick the colors you like. There's so many. There's chartreuse, there's blue, there's pink, like streamers that are rolling from this mountain as they emanate in the sky above you. There's purple, violet, red, orange, yellow. All of them are different color streamers, and you can just sort of take one and just sort of reach up and just get a sense of it as it goes over. Just enjoy it. And then as things are getting clearer up here in the blue, and so there's a hill that's right off to your side, and since you really don't have any danger whatsoever, it's really safe with this a gold, silver, platinum ball. It sort of will follow you where you need it to. You can use it, and it lets you off on this path where there's just a well-worn dirt path. And I know you've had this feeling where you sort of walked on really fine, smooth dirt, and you walk on this path that takes you green grass on either side of the path. You sort of walk around this hill that's very big, but very beautiful. And it's a lot to explore here, because as you keep walking, you notice that your strength is getting more and more supple, and you actually can move quicker. You feel like you've got more strength to walk this path. As we get around the other side of the mountain, you see this huge lake. And as you look in the lake, you notice, God bless, it's completely clear. This is pure water. What amazing. And there's, in the distance, there's like a waterfall. So many things here that you are going to benefit from. But for now, just put a check mark here, and we'll come back here and investigate further. Let's just follow the gold, silver, platinum balls. It takes us down, 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 very calmly, brings us down through past the path, and then down through the blue, all the different levels of the blue, and then down through the clouds, and then down through the atmosphere, until finally, you're sitting there on a really nice, warm, sandy beach. Not many people are on the beach. You don't see any. You can hear a bird maybe making some sounds in the distance, but the waves are very warm, and they're coming in and sort of bathing your feet. And you look way up in the sky in your mind, and you recognize, I'm going to go back there. That's pretty safe. That's pretty enjoyable. It feels right. And so at this point, you want to notice that there's way behind you, there's like this tree that's sort of signaling how to lock it in. And when a leaf falls from the tree, it's a good time with your eyes closed to rub your hands together. So you'll hear my hands and friction. And so take your hands and put your hands together. And put your hands together and rub your hands. So rub your hands. You're doing great. You're doing great. You're doing great. Yeah, I expect everybody to get totally locked in. You get very deep. And so sometimes you'll get so deep that you'll just feel like you're floating forward and backwards. And that's wonderful, because those are stages of letting yourself finally release and take in the energy. So rub your hands to get some friction. Perfect. And then put your hands over your eyes like this. Now you don't have to touch your eyes, but just take it in your eyes and notice that, hey, this is comfortable. You don't want to mechanistically, you want to just take it in, whatever's there, take it in. And it's okay to go all the way into your brain with all this wonderful energy. And it's pretty easy to do that because, as you know, your eyes are part of your brain. So it's not like the brain is separate. So you've got a direct pathway to nourish your brain with whatever great energy you pick. It doesn't have to feel any certain way, but it does give a sense that you can relax your neck and relax all those folds in your brain. It doesn't have to be so stiff. It doesn't have to be in any kind of hyperprotective mode. It can just take a break, the application from it. Then rub your hands, get some friction, and put your hands over your heart, just over your chest, and relax and let your space over your chest. Some people put left hand on top of the right, other people put right hand on top of the left. Some people do it a few inches away. You can play with that. But the key is just take it in. And take what in? Whatever you sense. So sometimes you'll sense warmth. Sometimes you'll sense other things. You may sense a tapping feeling. You may sense a vibratory feeling. There's not a particular thing each hour that you have to guard to see which is the right one for you. It really works out so that once you get the process started, just take that in. And then remember, we were going to allow the heart just to take a break and drop down so your shoulders can drop. Take a breath. Very good. Now rub your hands. This is the last one. So you're going to put your hands over your belly button after you get a friction, rubbing about 5 or 6 times. And put your hands over your belly button. One hand on top of the other, left hand on top of the right hand on top of the left. And what's fun about this position is that to let your shoulders drop, sometimes it's hard not to smile. I don't know why, but this part of your abdomen when I was in China, they said, well, it's Buddha's belly. I said, well, I think this is the smiling part of our whole energy system, because it's easier to smile from this position for some reason. And then recognize that you did good, and we're going to open our eyes slowly in a minute, feel ourselves come back in the room. And then I want you to just gently bring yourself back in the room and stretch a little bit with me. So we all know how to stretch. You can open your eyes. And that wasn't anything but fun, right? Did you recognize that you can just keep sailing in every direction? Some of you will follow me all the way through as I'm doing it. And then everybody's body is different. Some people's body senses, I want to get off in the clouds. Other people want to get off in the blue. Other people want to get off in the colors. So everyone, your body knows how to absorb the vibrations it loves and needs. And it may look like you're maybe just sort of phasing out, yawning or nodding off, but not, you're in if we did EEG on you, you would see that you're in that space of allowing your brain to take a break so that it actually is not going like this all the time. Remember, I told you too many thoughts per second. We have way more thoughts per second than we need. We're mush. So your body needs to be able to receive the right stuff. And once it's clear, your brain, it can go, yeah, I need this, I don't need that. So as the representative for all the audience, was that fun, interesting, or worthwhile?
No pressure. It was fun, it was interesting, and it was worthwhile. Absolutely. So for me, what was present was just how spacious the interior space really is. And I think as you guide us through it, the more time we spend in there, the more spacious it becomes. And even just that is quite a remarkable experience unto itself, because I think oftentimes for those of us that are meditators, we do spend time closing down our eyes, shutting down and going inwards. But sometimes we don't really get to experience the spaciousness as you're gently guiding us through, as you mentioned earlier. The spaciousness is just ever apparent. And then you've got stuff moving, happening as you're guiding it and processing it. That part
gets better and better.
Yeah. So that part's really fun. And it actually is, fun's a really great word to use because it gives you the opportunity to, navigate as you're going. It actually is a bit of a story and a journey that you're on. My least favorite part is where you go, let's put a check mark here. Because that means we're coming back into our body. And I'm like,
I know, but we have many longer ones. I have some that Dave had me do one that just goes on. And the point is that every time you do it, even if you only listen to part of it, if you can't get on it, it's always going to take your body, because your body is part of your birthright to just enjoy what vibrations are in there in that guided breathing visualization. You're going to say, well, I don't know what vibrations I was taking in. It's been set up so that as you do these, and we have them recorded for every kind of situation, if you want to take a rapid transformation vibrational technique for increasing your success in one thing or another, or how you felt in a certain part of the day, there's categories, and you just use that. And what I love about the energy for success is that there's no pills, there's no shots, you don't have to go to the pharmacy. And people are finding out going to the pharmacy isn't even helping anyway. Nothing against pharmacists. My dad was a pharmacist. So the point is that we need to be able to heal ourselves. And this puts all of our body in a place that it can really, your immune system, everything can really work for you. And the next thing I want to do with everybody is now we're going to focus this energy, but not focus it like people do in the Matrix or they do in Mad Max, which is, they're going to crunch up their head and crunch up their body, and they're going to be able to, this is going to happen, and I'm going to pound it through. No, you're going to find out that you have the power. I know somebody out there, I think we talked about once before, asked me in the chat, said, well, what is this really like if I never knew what you're talking about? And I said, well, if you ever hit a tennis ball well, or if you ever hit a soccer ball well, or if you ever hit a home run, even people who hit a lot of home runs, after you hit it, wow, you just can't move for a second because you have the same feeling that you just went through with the guided breathing. All of a sudden, grace descended, and the ball slows way down. And so, of course, you can hit the home run. And same with tennis balls. And you're going to find so much more success doing this. I mean, I had a guy who was so interested in being successful financially. And he had a big negotiation, and he just did not know what he was going to do because they outnumbered him. If you've ever been in a negotiation like that, there's like 5. He said, well, there's 5 suits on their side and me on the other side of the table. And it was a big company that he was trying to have them take his product, but they're known for being very tough. So he said, I want to go to the restroom. So he went to the restroom. When you go to the restroom, which was fortunately nobody's bothered him. And so he played one of these from his cell phone, because we have an app that you can play. And so he was listening to it for, just I think 10 minutes. And then he went back in there and he said, it's as the room actually got completely changed. It was almost like, is this the same room I was in before? It's like some of you may experience that when you opened your eyes. If you look around the room you were in or wherever you were, it's a little bit more interesting, or maybe has sort of a vibrational tone to it. That's, if you want to, you can open yourself up to that. But what I want you to use this energy for now, and you might as well tell them that this is going to keep going in their benefit, is that we want to do some goals. Yeah. And the trouble with people with making goals up till now is that stop, don't go there, stop, don't go there, stop. Everybody's done goals before in some place, and they didn't like it because they had to experience either discomfort in not making the goal or memory of not making it. I want you to stop all that and give yourself a break. This process, some of the most high-profile people in the whole United States, in Europe, down under, everywhere, have come to me and said, this goal process really works. It's amazing. And the reason it works, you're going to find out, is you're going to use the energy, which you've already loaded yourself with, and you're going to guide it towards what people really want in life. Everybody, you did great. And just to bring you more back into reality here, before we did the guided breathing, the rapid transformational vibrational technique, we talked about physical practice, and both of them accentuate and open these circuit breakers. So, I mean, I had a lady who was an international lawyer, and she had only one goal, which was to lose a lot of weight. And she never lost weight more than a yo-yo, down and up, down and up. And I have her do a testimonial because she lost 165 pounds. And I said, how did you do it? She said, I'm on the go all the time. And so diets, you didn't give me a diet. You just said, keep doing your physical practices, because she was a little bit nervous, as some lawyers are. And so she would just have time to do the physical practice. You do like we were doing earlier. And then sometimes she did the guided breathing visualizations, but you can see which ones you like best. So in every module that we have for people, we always have people who are more visually oriented, more auditorily oriented, more kinesthetic. So in each day, you'll see which one works the best for you. I have a guy on the golf course who was playing in a very serious tournament, and I had him do the practices before he had to make any of these long putts. And just very simply like what we're doing. I mean, people can't tell what you're doing. You're stretching. They don't know. But then he was just so relaxed. And I said, don't stress about how hard to hit the golf ball when you want to putt. Just don't do that. Let's just make a line. And after we make our goal, we sort of just experience a line between the ball here. And let's use the energy. He says, how do you do that? I said, you're going to find out. Do these practices, and then when you call on it, just like on the ball in your head, it'll start to give you a sense on how much to hit the ball. And he called me back and he said, hey, this really worked. I thought you were kidding. I was just trying it, So I recommend everybody, for the next thing we're going to do, which is goal setting, try it. Even though I know I've been a doctor for over 30 years, that you've had your lumps. People have made goals and had things not work out. They've had betrayals. They've had people that, either you hired or you was a colleague, and you go, God, this person's perfect, and they turned out to be not. Okay, so maybe you had that experience about making your goals. It's hard to make things work out. So I want you to know that's all going to change now. And I'm going to prove it to you. Yeah, okay, I'm going to prove it to you right now. So what is going to happen? Well, one, you need to know where to make your goals. And what I explained to Amrit before is that if you're interested in the physics of it, it's sort of your body has like 8 engines on it. And you're always being raised by those engines. And that's what we call the great 8. The 8 areas are ones that if you have an engine going in each one of those areas every day, and you're going to go, are you asking me to multitask? I thought that wasn't possible. No, we're not. Listen, this isn't multitasking. This is being successful. And all you need to do is to learn these little simple techniques on making goals. And each one of these 8 takes about 5 minutes. And then you get to have a day where you have free time, because this can be one of your goals. So what is the great 8? So each one of them is an engine that makes you balanced. And if you can imagine, say I teach you the great 8 and you go, I don't care about all the other ones. I just want to do 2 of them. That won't be as useful as just doing something on all 8. But for today, you're only going to pick 1. Okay. So don't think that I'm denying you. We're going to give you the categories and I'm going to tell you how to use them, but we're only going to use it on 1. So the great 8 is, and you pick from which of these, and I'll tell you what they all are. One of them is that, yes, believe it or not, just like you know for sure, you deserve to have good relationships. You know it. When you have arguments with people or they disagree or they can't understand, you can't understand them, communication goes out. It doesn't matter. Everybody walks away feeling unhappy about that. And then as life goes on, they go, there should be a better way. Well, there is. And what's so great about the energy is that you can have not only improved relationships, but I've got so many testimonies of people who found their soulmate. And there's nothing wrong with having a soulmate as someone who works with you, a soulmate is somebody who's you're married to, a soulmate who's your buddies. Most people, they're pretty isolated because they don't feel like they can find someone like them. But believe it or not, once your sensors are all aligned, which is what's so significant about energy for success, but this energy, this supernova energy that we're using, it aligns body, mind, and spirit. So you're getting all 3 so they're working together. Everything else is like pumping in some drug, do a surgery, take something out. But this is making you more whole so that you can do longevity and be stronger each day. So one thing is in relationships. As I go through them, I'm going to ask you to make a goal of something. And then I want you to put it in the chat of what happens as far as your goals so that I can follow with you.
In the comment section.
Yeah. So first one is relationships. So you could say, I want to find, my perfect employee. I want to find my perfect administrator. I want to find my perfect relationship. Or you can say, I would like a relationship with my family. It could be your parents or distant family that you want to have really in great shape. Some people really don't enjoy holidays when they go get to visit their family. And it becomes sort of, well, everybody treats me like, not pretty much listening to what is going on that I'm saying. They're closed down. And doesn't have to be that way. You can have even family relationships be revived. It's never too late. Once your vibrational state is set, that to have people around you, especially if you're just doing your practice before you go into, say, an event, a party, a business meeting, to have everybody in there to sort of enjoy your glow. And then they're going to fall into that experience of, wow, this seems like a good way. Let's stay with this person to continue to connect and see what he or she has to say. So one is relationships. Number 2 is your physical ability. So you're supposed to, and this is where Dave Asprey and Vishen Lakhani and Jay Abraham, and a bunch of senators, a lot of people, they love this part because you actually get to experience yourself feeling younger, being younger, getting stronger every day. And it'll blow people away because they'll go, how old are you? And you'll go, 21. They'll go, really? You look it too. Did you have plastic surgery? No. All the people in my, I have lots and lots of stories from people that who are big travelers. And one lady went in to get her passport, and she's a professor in Oxford in England. And the guy there was nothing against the British, but they're sometimes can be a little bit stiff, okay? We sort of know that. Stiff upper lip. And so she wanted to get her passport, new passport. The guy said, you have to have current pictures, ma'am. And he shoves it back underneath the thing that was probably there since World War II. You know, they had never changed it. And so she didn't see who he was, but he was pretty gruff. And she says, those are current pictures. I got them done just down the street at so-and-so place. And so then she handed him the receipt to show that. He went, for the first time, he said, in I don't know, months ever, he pulled up the blinds. He doesn't even look at the people he usually just looked at the passport. He said, I want to see you. I said, I see this is really you. And he says, how is it possible that you could look this much younger? Did you get a lot of plastic surgery or something? He says, no. Energy for success. It sort of brings out the youthfulness. And she started telling him about how beauty comes from the inside. And he said, can I find out more about this? You know, so here's this gruff guy, and you're going to find that that's why they get together. As you start feeling healthier and younger and more expressive, they blend in with the rest of the grade 8. So that a rising tide raises all boats. So you start to get better health, better looking, better feeling, or at least younger and more able. And also then your relationships start to improve. Third one is that financially, we have a lot of people who've been able to make great successes financially. We had one lady who, God bless her, she comes from a very, I wouldn't say indigent, but almost indigent family with, I think, three sisters and her mom. They get along, but nobody's ever gotten anything done in that family. And so she came to me and she said, listen, I know this stuff works because I've seen it in other people, but I want to show my family that we don't have some genetic hex. And I said, there's no such thing as hex. What are you talking about? She said, well, nobody in my family's ever really broke out, made a ton of money. I'd like to do that. So I said, how old are you? She said, 23. I said, fine. You do this goal setting the way we're going to do it. And what's really interesting about her is that she was I told her, like I'm telling you, that if you handwrite them, you get the result better because there's nerves that run from your hands up into your head, and you get a better result than if you just dictate them. But if you're moving too fast, it's better to do it, at least do them. So she would have perfect handwriting. It's better than I've seen most. And she would write down goals every day, just the way I'm teaching you. And she ended up becoming the best salesperson for this company that was an IT company that then had her become regional manager of sales. And, that by that time she's 25. And then finally she was the one who was the top salesperson in the whole company internationally. And they asked her, so you're so young and where was your experience? And we didn't see on your CV that you really had worked in that many places. She says, well, I do these energy for success techniques. And so then she started giving them, gave her the slides and I said, show them how to do what I'm showing you. And her company, one of the most major IT companies, actually uses what I'm showing you. So she ended up making a lot of money. So financially, you can beat your present status hands down. I've had so many people do that. And you don't have to beat it by like gambling or going to Vegas, which I don't recommend. You can do it by making a contribution. The energy is all about body, mind, and soul being win-win-win. So as long as you're making a contribution with anything you're doing as far as your activities, then you'll find that a lot of people are going to support you financially for that. So especially if you come up with something great, like improving wherever you're working to such a level because you're feeling so good that you're making smart choices. Now, one of the things that gets opened up to help you make money a lot is that, does everybody know that you've heard you only use 10% of your brain? Have you heard that? Okay. So unfortunately, that's not only true, but the latest statistics are we use even less than 10%. Okay. Now, the good news is that you're going to experience that what's left in that whole other side of your brain is called the Einstein part of your brain. You have access to that with these energy techniques. And I've had people who, as they get older, have said, this is like anti-Alzheimer. I'm smarter now than I was when I was in my 40s and 50s. I mean, I can remember names, numbers, everything. I can't believe it. And the way that they tell that is that they said, I get messages off over the phone and I write them down and I don't have to check it again. I actually remember it. It surprises me, like shows up like a picture. I think you experienced a little bit like that when we were doing the energy work before last time. And you said, things are like really smoothly. The day is moving on because the Einstein part of your brain is very not only alert and aware, but it's efficient. It's accurate. So believe it or not, let's tell one on all ourselves. Okay. No matter how many years you've lived, the truth is what's taken up most of your time is resolving things that didn't go well. It wasn't celebrating and, having a party every day. It was like, how do I get these problems that are slowing me down or in the way out of the way so I can at least get home on time early? Well, when you start using the other parts of your brain that are like waiting for you to use it, you're going to find that you're going to have more free time. So, and why people like this, I had a lady call me the other day for a session that we can do just like this. And she wanted to start writing books again. And she had written a long time ago, but she wanted to start writing books like J.K. Rowling's. And she wanted to write books that were going to be super successful. And she says, I see that they put you in different books, but you've helped people. And I'm in Dave Asprey's books, and I'm in a lot of people's books that I've helped with that. But your creativity is just waiting for you. So if you want to write a book, all of you have one good book in you. But it may not be a book. Maybe you want to write some music. Maybe you want to write poetry. I've had really people that you would think this person could never write poetry, and they call me back and they say, my husband who's doing the processes with me, he thinks he's a literary guy now, and he didn't know anything about this. And he says he just feels more musical, feels more melodic, and he's able to see the beauty in things. I know it sounds dumb, but she said, we live in a condominium, and he has never, ever noticed any of the beautiful plants that are blossoming as you walk in through to go to the elevator. He's never stopped once. We've been living there for 8 years. Since he's been doing these practices, he says, I just sort of notice things now because, as I said, you're more present. So that whole thing about trying to be in present time is very, very complicated if you look at the physics of it. But the shortcut to that is used in these energy techniques. One of the things that's so important, and I think you've heard about this from anybody everywhere, they said, it's really hard to make it in life unless you have a positive attitude, right? So what do we usually do? We take whatever our attitude is and we pour something on top of it, and then we hope that we'll convince the rest of our body that it's going to be positive. And then, yes, it's true, you do need to be positive to succeed, but what the truth is, the studies have shown that you were meant to be naturally positive. When you see a little baby, unless they're hungry or they got a wet diaper, they're pretty jovial. I mean, they're pretty goo-goo-gaga. I mean, they're pretty happy. And that's our natural state. So you have the ability to be always in at least equanimity, okay, balance. And then just like Gandhi said and Christ said, and a lot of philosophers have said, Aristotle, that if you're looking forward to something all the time, it brings you into life. And one of the things that's good about the energy is you're always looking forward to the next thing I can do, because I know that sooner or later I'm going to find a way to do it now that I've got access to these sensors in my body. The next one is the flow and zone. Most of the athletes want that primarily because they go, Doc, I really don't want to understand quantum physics, where this all comes from. Great. I'm glad. I just want to put the ball in the basket. And so when you see these players who are shooting these great shots from big distance, whether it's in soccer, they're doing a great shot, or whether it's in basketball or football, this really works to stay in flow and zone, but also it works in your job. So many people think that being in zone or being in flow is some state that you're sort of happen into, and then you'll stay there for a while, and then you just keep loving it. No, you can turn it on and off like a switch, and then you'll sit down and you'll be in the zone. So you'll be in what I should write this down. You'll be in the 3 E's, which is efficient, effective, and energized. And when you're that way, you're very, very, very economical about getting things done on time. And the last thing of the 8 is called SOC, or the thing that makes life really have a lot of joy to it is serendipity. You'll have a lot more serendipity in your life, which is, some people say, oh, you mean I'm going to be luckier? I said, you can call it that way. But one of the most famous scientists in alternative medicine, people read his articles every day, he came out and he was interviewed someplace where there was a whole lot of people, and it was a big alternative medicine conference, big. And so they were expecting to hear his latest discovery. So, what is your latest discovery? And he's a little bit older gentleman, but he's very well respected. Everybody knows his articles and stuff. He says, SOC, Serendipity on Command and Energy for Success. I use that technique in goal writing, and I have more good things happen to me that I would never expect to happen. He said, it's just amazing, and people should try it. And how does that show up? Well, you don't have time to write a goal for everything, but somewhere along in life, you said, I would like someday to find a place that makes, great donuts, or makes great cobbler, makes great some kind of food, or makes some great French food that you could get for a good price in our neighborhood. Things start to show up. And you've probably had it at least once in your life where you were thinking of something and it showed up. Well, this happens without you even thinking of it. You've got a part of your brain that is definitely built to make you laugh at how many good things are set up to really go your way. And it's going to surprise you. You're going to have people do things, interact with you, and you're going to go, that doesn't usually happen. Where did that guy come from? And no, they're not going to say to you, you aren't the aliens we're looking for. But you can play that game if you want. You can try to see if you can get. I had one lady said, well, it's a great story in that you can pick one of these. And I instead of telling you a story, I want you all now to put in the chat which one of these you picked, and then I want you to write a goal for it. Now, how do you write the goal? You write the goal not the way we always used to write goals, but you write it this way. I am. Did you get that part? Remember, that's the first words of the Bible, which doesn't hurt. I am winning. Now, the ing is important because you are a process. You're always, back to that gold, silver, platinum ball. Remember how it's moving all the time? Actually, we're always moving. When you're asleep at night, your blood is still moving. There is no time that your blood is just sitting there doing nothing. And in fact, anything that sits on this planet becomes pretty much disappears. If you put a banana out after about 2 weeks, it's going to be disappeared. It's black, and then it'll shrink. And people have recognized there's a sort of a cleanup system here. So pick one of those things. And for this process, what I really wanted people to do is pick something in getting physically stronger or having more financial success, but pick something definite. Like, I'd like to be able to get my next whatever, and put whatever it is, but in the way you're going to say it, whether it's a car, whether it's a certain amount of money, whether it's a job, that would be in finance and creativity. You could say, I really want to write that book. And I have many, many people who've written books who said, I never could write the book until I was doing these practices. It just made it so easy for me. And this was from a lady who was a international martial artist winner. And she wanted to write about all her stories, but she never could do it. She says, I'm an athlete. It's so hard for me to write. But once she started doing this, she was able to write. So everybody do that. And just, if you want to put your goal in the chat, please do. But at least put the area, because I'd like to see that so I could support you winning, because you're going to find out you won it. So I'm winning at, let's pick something, Amrit, let's pick something small, like what?
For me, it's creativity. And I'm putting together, we're looking for our first members for our aligned membership community. And I think there are some goals that we can set in that space. Yeah. Hey, you're Inspired Tribe. I want to take a quick sec. I wanted to share something today with you that is really dear to my heart. And it's actually what keeps the entire ecosystem around the Inspired Evolution thriving, my one-on-one coaching. So it's basically coaching that helps you live a spiritually aligned life. I coach people from all different types of walks of life. These people are leaders and they're looking to have an incredible spiritual impact in the lives that they're leading for themselves, and then also lead in alignment to their values. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. Here's a few people that have also transformed through my coaching, and here's what they have to say.
Amrit is a fantastic coach.
In a few sessions, he got to a depth that I'd only experienced before working with certain medicines. And
he's gone through a lot of the struggles that you're probably facing.
My corporate banking job wasn't really doing it.
You feel like you're not making progress towards your goals.
And Amrit's been a really strong, supportive figure in my journey.
I'm more in control of myself.
I'm kinder to myself.
I actually have that vision and a purpose.
I do feel like I'm a better version of myself already.
Amazing energy.
He was easy to talk to, which made me easy to trust him.
Working with Amrit at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and really I was bouncing out of bed.
Whenever I get off the calls with Amrit, best money we've ever spent.
I would not recommend him because I don't want everyone to know about him and then I won't be able to book him. If he gets too busy, I won't get my turn.
I would say absolutely.
There's no way you can work with Amrit for a period of time without being transformed.
So if you're considering him as a coach, do not hesitate because you won't be disappointed.
As you guys can see, there's a lot of people all over the world from all these different corners experiencing incredible transformations. I don't think, if I can say humbly myself, that there is anything quite like this somewhere else online. Most people that, have channels that, grow and grow and grow don't really focus on one-to-one offerings. I have just found that it is the most profound space where you can bring yourself in a private container and really just share what's going on for yourself. And if you want to book in for that call with me, touch base, it's www.amrit.coach/life. That's www.amrit.coach/life. There is a link in the show notes below to book in that call. And yeah, if you want to take your journey further, if you want to dive in deeper and you really want to live a spiritually aligned life, if it's for you, please do check it out. And without too much further ado, once again, for your spirit, for yourself, today's podcast.
You can see how one thing covers many goals. That's going to put relationships. It's going to put financial. It's going to be zone and flow. You've got a lot of things that are going to be useful there in that. So you see it covers those areas. That's why I like the grade. It shows you where, how to phrase your goals. I'm winning at creating membership site that is successful.
I was going to say creating initially, or building. I was going to use the word building. I'm winning at building a beloved membership community. But then I Okay, cool.
If I'm doing this in Australia, it's different than South Africa. It's different than Northwestern Germany. It's different than everybody has their own words.
Cool.
So but you have to say, I am winning at. So you're either manifesting it, developing, discovering, writing. You could say writing a book. I'm winning at writing the prospectus for the membership, the whole department, and that's all you have to write. Except you have to write now by when. So when do you want that to be?
Right.
So everybody out there, you pick your goal, whatever it was, and I want to see it in the chat, but write your goal. I'm winning at having an increase in my salary to another 5% or 10%, whatever, or finding another job that pays this, job with less hours. By when? And you have to have a day and a date. So the day, date, and it's also good to put a time. I know that seems funny. Like, how do I know what time? It's by a certain time. So in other words, if you said it's by noon, at least you've got a target. Now, why do you want to have a target? Because you're in control. Once you find out you're in control of all this energy in your body and you're in control of opening the Einstein part of your brain, it's going to shock you at how much power you've got. Well, if you don't put a target, the energy flows where your focus goes, and your focus has to go somewhere or the energy doesn't know where to go. So I know it seems mechanical, but it's true. You have to have a day. All right, now you got that? So I'd like you to say that if you were going to get this done, do you think that your project, Amrit, would be doable within 90 days?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we'll put up on the screen what that you'd like to get it done in 90 days. Do you think you could get some of it done in 60 days?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So then you would then go in and you would write eventually a goal for what you want to get done by 60 days and the day that will be occurring in the time. But it has to be I am winning at. And you're going to do your practice, right? And then do you think that you could get anything done in 30 days on that. That's a whole month. You think you can contact somebody in a month that might get involved in this? I mean, could you find some time in your busy schedule to delegate something on this in a month?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so in 30 days, you're going to fill this in that you're going to contact Bob or whoever, someone, and get them to, take action on this. And so that'll be a big hunk on getting it done. Now, this is where the Energy for Success is unique in that I have to ask you the key question. Take a deep breath, and then, which everybody's learned in this practice today, I hope, if there's one thing. What could you get done in 24, 48 hours on this? Now, this is where people look at me funny. And I had this one lady, just so you can get a catch on this, that she was in, I guess, she was a little bit athletic, but mostly she said, I don't know what I could get done on this. I want to be a painter. I've never painted my whole life. And I'm in my early 60s, I think, or late 50s. And she said, my husband says it's okay. And I'm not working out. I think I could do it, but I don't know anything. I go and think about painting. I go, so what's the problem? She says, well, I can't write a goal for that. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to get it done in 90 days. I don't want to get it done in 60 days. I don't know. I just want to be a painter. I said, that's why it works. What could you get done in 24, 48 hours? She goes, I still don't know. You're missing me. I said, really? Think about it. In the whole day tomorrow, what do you got planned? You have to do this and this, this. Is there any hour in there that you could go by an art store and just go in there and interview the lady or the man in there, because I knew she lived near UCLA, and ask them if they have anything for beginning students who might want to progress in painting, even though they're starting at a time they've never done it before. So she said, yeah, I have an hour. So you can see she wasn't very positive. I have an hour. I'll try it. But this is going to be like all the other goals. I'll go in there and who knows what's going to happen. So everybody has to put down what could you get done, Amrit, towards your membership thing in the next 24, 48 hours.
I think that's probably worth commenting in the comments below. I think that's probably the one where the rubber hits the road.
All right. So what happened with this lady, though, is she did go in the next day. She kept her promise, and she sent it back in the chat what happened. And she said, I was so surprised, which is what I hear every day, that there's these great people in the art store. And they said, there's lots of people like you starting painting. You should get your confidence up. And we'd start you working with these kind of paints. And she ended up within 2 years of making a ton of money painting big paintings in both in oil and watercolors. It's just she just found the ability in her and she sold them. Yeah, so she couldn't believe it. I'm selling paintings. She said, before I could.
It became a painter.
Because art, when art galleries where they're selling paintings, it doesn't put down there how long the person's been a painter. So she's making more money than her husband now, and he loves it. And he actually cleared out the top part of their condominium, and he just made it into a painting studio for her.
Wow.
So put down what you think you could get done in the chat in 24, 48 hours. Everybody has to do this. Now, why? Because all things in life are created by your intention, guiding the energy, but it's never big. It's always, everything's made from little tiny pieces, bit by bit. And that may be hard to believe, but excuse me, if you ever saw a brick building where you live, it's not, even though it's a big building, it's all made of small bricks. So everything requires bit by bit by bit. So you want to always feel good. And you've heard that in positive psychology, which they never could get across to people. And how do I know that? The testing has shown that as far as the results is that you should acknowledge yourself that I got this little small thing done. But well, it doesn't mean that much. I really want to get the big thing done. But that's because you don't know how to set goals. We have a goal that we're going to get a tiny thing done right now. And we're going to get done in the next 24, 48 hours. What have they discovered about that? Well, you have sensors in your body that go along with all the great 8 that love momentum. And once you have a little tiny win, it brings you to a little bit bigger win, which leads you to a little bit bigger win, which leads you to another win. And all of a sudden, you're in motion. And you'll find that you won't want to, like this one lady, she can't stop painting. She canceled her vacation because she's having so much fun painting now, and is, as I said, her husband stopped working, and I thought that was pretty good. So in the chat, please put that there so we can see what you wrote. But what is it you could accomplish in just 24, 40 hours, even if it's something small? So you pick something, and people in the audience, definitely you could help them to pick something. If they write in, we'll check with the chat. But I want people to have the fun of seeing that you're going to get a result right away, especially if you do these practices each day. And that leads me to the fact that this grade 8 is something I want you to have all the time. And we actually have, just for this group, because they've been so wonderful, a set of modules. It's called Dragon. And it's, if they would like to get this module, all they have to do is go to www.inspiredwinning.com. So we got your word in there, inspiredwinning.com. And what's in this module is, I put, as you can see, I loaded you up so that you can't lose. We have the rapid transformational vibrational techniques, but not just one. There's more than 12, so you can keep doing them every month. And there's physical practices in there, which are powerful, and some of them are short, some are medium, some are long. Then you've got those for 12 months also. Then you've also got mental exercises so that you can sharpen your mind and open up the Einstein part of your brain. And so then you're going to have special assistance in writing your goals, so that people are going to be reporting their goals and winning in this program. And you're going to go, where do you report them? Well, what I put here, I know it seems like going overboard in terms of service, but I still want people to have this. We have every day of the year, I have a very well-trained group of facilitators, and they alternate, and they have a blast with you all. People call from all over the world, all different time zones, and they report in what their wins are. And people keep going, well, gosh, if this person in Australia was able to do that, I could do that. I got access to the same techniques. And so you'll learn from each other, If they can do it, I can do it. And so that's why we have a call every single day, even Christmas and New Year's. Someone, and who is on the calls? People from all over. And that's included in this package of Dragon energy for you all. And
inspiredwinning.com.
Oh, you also get a signal group. That's your own special signal group. And then in addition, the people who set this up said, listen, if you get a number of people, because Amrit's spread to really nice people, and you like people who are really inspired to do something with their lives, would you be willing to do a live with them? I said, what do you mean? He says, well, just sort of after everybody's registered, then you get them started as if it was one of your super, it was Tony Robbins treatment or something. Only you're going to, instead of treating Tony, you're going to treat them over the phone and over the TV, the Zoom, and they will get the same attention that some of the extremely high profile people, that's where I spent most of my life up till now, when I finally decided I've got to get this out to the public instead of just some of the influencers. Wow. Now, what else is in there is that it normally has a price of $97 a month, but I said, well, no, I want them to be able to try it for $18.50. They go, $18.95. They said, okay, so you can try it, no questions asked, for 1 month for $18.95. You can't fail. You get 2 weeks to play with it, and then if you want a complete refund at that time, you can. But no one's going to do that. So you should take a month and see what kind of success you have, and then you'll stay with us. Hopefully, you'll want to get deeper into this so that you can have more and more success, because we've had so many people just crush it who started at every age in life and just done wonderful, great results. As I've told you, I've had some really octogenarians, and I don't know if you're having those as clients, who started at 80 to do this stuff. And they said, the doctors had even said, what are you doing? You're so much sharper than you were before. You're reading books in the waiting room, and and you're like healing from anything that happens to you. And, some people have a worry when they get in their 80s about falling. And even if you fall, you don't get a broken bone and your attitude's good. And I'm thinking of 2 or 3 clients who are 80 and above. They always give the introductory materials for Energy for Success to their doctors that the doctors start doing so they can make the rounds. So look below. I think the link is
inspiredwinning.com.
Inspiredwinning.com.
Yep. So I'll put a link. Right, so I'll put a link to that in the comment section below.
And that's really something I've got for your group.
Thank you so much, Dr. B. It is so generous of you.
They deserve it, and they want it. And we're in a time in history where people are being not supported by anything. And what I want you to know is that you can be your own healer. You can be your own guru. You can be your own guidance, because what's in there, and you've always known that it was in there, but it's just you didn't have access. So this is going to, as a matter of fact, why don't we just make a little summary here for a second? If people would just think, reflect for a minute. You can keep your eyes open or closed, but look how much we got done in just a short period. And that's what you'll find with Energy for Success, is that you're going to close your eyes and just relax. And you're going to sing. In the beginning, we talked about all the wonderful things that you can get accomplished. And there's the grade 8. And then each one of those areas are important. Don't tell me, for that lady who got the divorce, that it wasn't important that she have a great relationship with her wonderful husband. When she got married to him, she said, I didn't marry you to not see you for 5 years while you were getting, what you thought was the most important, which is crazy. And so I've had plenty of professionals who do major, crucial stuff, just like many of you all out there do. And then some people who are in between things, but you don't have to sacrifice. Come on. You have time to take your favorite exercise and do it. These physical practices will make you feel more robust. You'll be popping out of bed in the morning. Maybe you want to do something else. All the different exercises that are set up for you are made to get you stronger. And what's so wonderful is that look how quickly we got through all this. And you had some experiences. And what happens tomorrow and the next day is you're going to send this gentleman, who's so nice, Amrit, your wins, and then I want to see them. Send them at www.inspiredwinning.com about things that you've succeeded in. And if you want to get into the program right now, there'll probably be a link below where you can click it, or if it doesn't, the URL will send you there. And then you can just get started, and you're going to blow yourself away. You're going to be thanks for this day while everybody's singing the blues out there, because tell me, what does everybody say? What bad news has occurred today? Oh, I don't know. I haven't wanted to look at the news. Or worse, it's almost like a joke now. People go, what did he say today? And everybody knows who he is. It depends on what country you're in, but there's always a person
who's always there. He's always there.
And I want you to know, you don't need to care about them because they're not part of your domain anymore. You're part of the success community. So you're going to move on past that.
Brilliant.
So I want to thank everybody for working with me today.
Yeah.
I hope you can stay with the program. Make sure you review the previous one. There's a lot of details and vibrations in that. There's also vibrations in this that I've been putting in throughout the whole time. You'll learn more in the modules you'll get with inspiredwinning.com on how I do that and how you'll do that for yourself. But you're going to write in and surprise yourself.
Perfect.
You're going to say, I'm not getting sick. I'm able to take care of my kids and this and that. Multitasking is going to be fun. So I wish you the best success. I don't know if you have any more questions, but we covered what they asked for. And so I devised this whole program today so that they would be able to be their own healers, be your success that you've always wanted to be without. There's nothing worse than being dependent on somebody, and then they decide that for a while you liked it, but then they decide they don't want to play that role with you anymore. And then you feel betrayed, and none of that should have gone on anyway. If you could be bringing the energy into your own abilities, then you can always find a solution for yourself that'll work. You don't see redwood trees falling over on other trees trying to be supported. It's not going to happen. That you want to be strong and pulling the energy, just like we were doing in the guided breathing visualizations. You want to be able to constantly being pulled this way, so that you can maintain. And you're going to have stories to tell, Amrit, that I want to hear. So please send them on the chat. And I can't wait to see your success. Please join me in that Dragon program. It's going to be winning all the time. And you will find that it's not, it's like Lao Tzu said 5,000 years ago. There's the yin yang symbol. There's this one side that's pretty much the dark side where things don't work out. And then there's the other side that it's all victories with one little dot in it just to keep you interested. But it's possible for you to have success after success after success. I welcome you to your wonderful, successful life. You can do it without even efforting. You can do it just with focusing this energy that is this supernova energy that's what keeps us all alive anyway. So why not use it?
Dr. B, wow. Thank you so much for your generosity, for just championing just our best selves for all of us as well, and all the energy you programmed and so generously guiding us through all the exercises today. We've definitely delivered and felt so much through the process and the journey, and not least of all, your generous heart. These are trainings that you've offered to some really incredible people doing really incredible things on the planet, and just to feel that, yeah, they're accessible to all of us now, and yeah, it just means so much. So thank you so much for believing in the community here at the Inspired Evolution and offering up inspiredwinning.com. And also thank you so much for sharing yourself so generously here with us today. I said this last time, like, yeah, thank you for being here, but thank you also for, people really need to tune into the first episode to understand just how much passion and love has gone into discovering these modalities and actually finding energy for success and founding energy for success as well. And so, yeah, just once again, just honoring you for the individual that you are and just the blessings that you bestow upon us. Thank you so much for your incredible blessings. Really appreciate you.
I'm thrilled with your appreciation, your audience's appreciation. And I live for your all success. So keep in touch. Send your victories in, and then I will be thrilled. Thank you for being a wonderful, wonderful group of people who I think are going to make a difference in the world easily, not with any stress. No more stress, no more aggravation. Or if it is, it'll be like a little bump and then you get over it. Okay?
Thank you. Hey there, Inspired Soul. You've made it through all the way to the end of another episode. I can't tell you how inspired I am by your inspirations to evolve. Thank you so much for accompanying me on this journey. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It helps with everything we're doing here. And on screen now for you to continue your journey further is a video. Go on, click on it, and I'll see you in the next one.